Today, I am so pleased to stand with Senator Ernst and my colleagues and to talk about the 2019 Violence Against Women Act. Most women will tell you that they know of a female friend or acquaintance or relative who has experienced the horrors of sexual assault or domestic violence or even trafficking. Through my work with shelters back home in Tennessee, I've learned that the volunteers, the counselors, the advocates, the attorneys who support these victims are of the utmost importance. That is who the victim needs to see the minute they walk through that door into the arms of somebody who says, "How can we help you? This is a safe place." Those are the people that come around them to empower them. And the one thing that I hear over and over, in the wake of an attack, these victims need that type support. This is why, in addition to providing funding for both prevention and education programs, this year's authorization will do some important things. It increases funding for the court-appointed special advocates by $3 million. It provides over $1 million per year for federal victim counselors and helps provide transitional housing to victims, which is something they desperately need. Mr. President, they need to know they have a safe place. These resources, and this is important, these resources are going to go directly into the hands of those providing these services, and it will have a direct impact on the lives of these women when they need it most. Just for a moment, I'd like to highlight a portion of the reauthorization where I've spent a good bit of time working this year. It has to do with a particular violent sexual crime that is so grotesque, most Americans prefer not to even acknowledge it. They don't want to admit that this exists. But for the victims of female genital mutilation, the pain and the humiliation are nearly unbearable. You would think that federal prosecutors would be able to make short work out of such heinous charges, but due to a loophole in federal criminal law, scores of victims have watched their abusers walk free. The Federal Prohibition of Female Genital Mutilation Act of 2019, a separate bill that I sponsored earlier this year, is now a part of this year's Violence Against Women reauthorization. It will correct fatal constitutional flaws in the federal statute banning the practice of FGM. When this is done, prosecutions for mutilation and cutting will be able to continue under federal law. I would be remiss if I did not say that in a perfect world, we would not have to worry about allocating resources for safe houses and for victim counseling. We should not have to do this, but this is not a perfect world. So yes, indeed, we do have to step up, and we do have to do this for the sake of thousands of women who will fall victim to sexual violence, trafficking, sexual abuse each year. So I urge all of my colleagues on both sides of this aisle, let's come together, let's work on this, let's pass the 2019 Violence Against Women Act. I yield the floor.